All right, hello everybody. Sorry for the late start. YouTube is being kind of weird. Can you guys see the stream? Hello Doris, hello S. Before I start everything, can y'all see the stream? Because YouTube seems to have changed something, and I cannot see if they I can't see if they even any kind of preview anymore, because they changed the whole goddamn format for some reason. You can see the main menu? Okay, thank God. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Witch on the Holy Night / Mahoyo. Last time. Hello, Uptis, and welcome to me, by the way. Last time. We had our ultimate final battle start between Touko and Alice and Alco. And she curb stomped them as expected. Not without a bit of a fight, though. Apparently, I was told a couple things about mistranslations and clarifications in the comments, because the story seemed to have, I don't know, there's just been a really poor job of the, of this thing being proofread. Thank you so much, by the way. And believe it or not, she was not joking about the whole cafe thing. She really actually did. I guess she truly is loaded. Like, just literally pay these other mages to use their crests and for them to basically live a carefree life. So yeah, she is, I don't know how, but she is loaded as fuck. Which makes sense given how she's dressed. And, so that's all the flowers behind her are crests from, I assume, like hundreds of different mages. And also, yeah, Soujirouu arrived. He took down that ultimately invincible werewolf in 2 hits. Basically exploded his heart, which surprisingly did not kill him because he can regen. And just putting it off like,
oh, yeah, I told you I can train to fight bears. See what's so big deal about that.
Hello, Average Joe, and that is where we have left off. At this absolutely flabbergasting moment. So let's see what Touko does here. And hello, Aldor, welcome to the stream. Always lovely to have new people. Especially at a climactic moment like this. Let's see what she does, and if we can finally know what the fuck Soujirouu is. Seriously. That stupid bandage on his fucking neck has been annoying me the entire fucking game! Touko, on the other hand, understood exactly what had transpired. Bayo lay fallen, now just a sobbing boy. Another boy stood over him with 2 shattered arms. So even though he did take him down, he did sacrifice both his arms. But let's see if he can regen from that or something, like seriously. Nearly fatally wounded, Alco and Alice still could not stand, but had recovered enough to breathe. As for Touko, she had only a few tricks up her sleeve. Maybe 3 or 4 more runes at best. The magic crests in her back were unusable. Really? She could use the remaining magical energy from the field imprisoning her grandfather, but that would be stupid. If she released her grandfather, she would lose ownership of the sacred ground. Failing to defeat Alco and Alice now would mean starting over from square one, and she could not afford that. The sibling rivalry had to end. Touko had gambled everything on a surprise attack. Okay, there is music. Okay, I was worried for a second. Using the fact that she was still in Aozaki to infiltrate Misaki's defenses. For 3 years she had labored, selling her work to the association. And she had used 20 years' worth of hair to mobilize an army of familiars. It was now or never.
だが、私は失敗した。
But I failed. She had overestimated the werewolf's power. It should have been enough. Against mages alone, Beowulf by himself would have been enough to ensure complete victory. But things did not always go according to plan. Beo's incredible strength was conditional. She knew he was not infallible, so why hadn't she prepared a contingency plan? Her heart as cold as ice, Touko stared at Soujirouu, who stood tall. His arms were a hideous mess. The army used to strike Beo head-on had barely even resembled an arm. His bones were bent out of shape, his muscles were torn to shreds. To say his arm was simply broken would be a gross understatement. Streams of crimson ran down his other arm, onto the white snow. The elbow he drove into Beo's back was likely shattered, and his muscles and tendons torn up his shoulder. I assume he could still do some crazy kicking moves, I guess. Or he could regenerate them. Judging from the state of his arms, it was doubtful he would be able to use them again. Worse than his arms was his left leg. Oh, really? And no doubt his internal organs, too. He'd used the leg to take on the full brunt of Beo's charge. At a glance, it looked fine. There was not just a useless hunk of meat attached to his torso. Really? So what else can he fucking do if he can't even run? His insides were worse. Supporting the weight of Beo had ruptured his spine, causing widespread internal bleed. Oh my god, really? Basically, he was a dead man standing. A bird with clipped wings. Living like that would not be living at all. He could barely stand. Sorry, let alone fight again. In his contrast, the collapsed werewolf was unscathed. Only once had he coughed up blood. The majority of the pool of red on the snow was Soujirou's. A crimson tapestry telling the story of the boy who stood strong and defeated a werewolf.
当然だ。衝撃には反動が伴う。
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
拳を振るうのなら相応の負担がある。まして相手は人狼。
You strike, and you face the consequences. Especially if you hit a werewolf.
走ってくる鉄の壁を真っ向から殴るようなものだ。
It would be like punching a moving freight train.
それを
Damn. Did he? Perhaps he had known what would happen. Animals instinctively limit their strength in order to protect their body. Compensating for physical weakness with intellect and technique was humanity's forte, and that clash had shown humans at their very best. And yet it had also been beyond human. He had attacked without concern for his own safety. Without self-preservation in mind, he could go beyond human capability. Enough to strike through the steel-like fur of a legendary werewolf. But who would have thought that a beast able to withstand a shot from a tank would be felled by a mere human?
いや、違う。
No, that's not right.
ためらうことなく殴りつけたから壊れたのではない。
The boy didn't break because he struck without hesitation.
初めからあれは壊すことを前提にしていたな。
He struck because he struck knowing he was going to break. He sacrificed his entire body to destroy Beo's heart. Touko felt a chill come over her as she went over in her head what had just transpired. It should have been a nightmarish scene, but she was captivated by that supreme display of physical rationality. From the outside looking in, she had witnessed not an accident, but a rational consequence. In that instant, the boy had put his entire being into piercing Bayo's chest. As soon as he laid eyes on Alco and Alice, he had committed himself fully to the task. He sized up Bayo, synchronized his breathing. Found his weak point and calculated the exact position, timing, and distance he would need to hold his ground. He knew what he had to do to win, and did it with everything he had. It had nothing to do with instinct. He's like a supreme fighter. A wild creature would not have tried to beat something it could not. Only a human would risk his life when faced with the impossible. That contradiction fed his attack. He twisted his body from his heel to his neck to focus his energy. If Bayo had simply tried to run Soujirouu down, the werewolf would probably have won. But the beast wanted to rip him to shreds, or rather he was baited into doing so. After Bayo charged when he planted his feet, he raised his claw and swung it downward, putting himself off balance. His pulse was erratic, his movement wild. In that moment, he was vulnerable. That was when Soujirouu made his move. The beast had overwhelming power, but it was sloppy. Whereas the human concentrated all of his meager power into a single point. That was how the human shifted the balance in his favor. The follow-up elbow attack would rupture Bayo's heart. It was a graceless second strike. A sloppy blow no different from Bayo's. The elbow was only able to penetrate the beast's golden fur because of his first attack to his chest.
あの時点でベオは丸裸にされていた。
It left Bayo wide open.
無敵の人狼がその機能の一切を休止させられた。
Took away his invincibility for a split second.
つまり
Basically, the strike was not meant to break, but to disable. All living creatures had weaknesses. No matter how strong the creature, it had weak points and weak moments. Not just physically, but mentally too. A time when they aren't in their best shape, unable to focus or find motivation. Sickness or a lack of sleep or food, for example, can cause the body's rhythm to go out of sync. For a variety of reasons, intelligent beings risk losing their ability to function properly. Legendary beasts were no exception.
弱点、欠点をつく魔術なら知っているが、全てを投げ打って弱点を生むとはな。
Weaknesses. I knew some magecraft that targets weaknesses. But I've never heard of a technique that risks everything to create a weakness. The boy's strike to the heart was not an attempt to kill Bayo. It was designed to create a weakness in something that had none. That elbow attack took advantage of the break in Beo's invulnerability.
加えて笑えることに不意打ちですらない。
Laughably, it wasn't even a surprise attack.
ベオの神経の伝達速度なら毒が当たった瞬間に感知し対応できる。
With Beo's reflexes, he should have been able to react.
だがそもそもそれを毒と認識できなければ変形のしようもない。
But he didn't even realize he was being attacked. Hello, Spheromancer. Hello, Gyro. Welcome to the stream.
毒ではないものが毒になるなんて落とし穴を誰が教えてやれるものか。
How do you teach that even something non-threatening can be a threat? Hello, Oddjars. Welcome to the stream. She was frustrated, to say the least. The boy was totally committed, utterly selfless. He bet his life on that single moment without expecting a single thing in return. The boy had acquired the experience and skill to do such a thing. It was not a miracle of luck, nor a miracle of passion. It was not talent, tenacity, or hatred. Without constant, intense training, no one could destroy their own body on a whim like that.
子供には相手が悪かったようね。
He made a poor opponent for a child. Seeing Beo cowering in the snow, Touko was disappointed in her own lack of foresight. She had used him for his talent alone, ignoring his inexperience. If Beo was not a child, his life experience might have given him the strength to bounce back and devour Soujirouu after regenerating.
ベオを責めるべきか、それとも君を評価すべきなのか。
Should I scold you, Beo, or praise you? Touko quietly lifted her left hand. Nobody noticed. Standing far away, the boy standing there looked like a hunter from a picture book. He had a slender build, but that was likely because he intentionally shed any excess. Given what she had just witnessed, his cluelessness had to be part of an act, the act of a hunter. Was he just, like, faking everything the whole time? As she thought to herself, she suddenly remembered. The first thing that crossed her mind the first time
そ
he
うだった
spoke.
な。
I remember now.
だがそれは忘れていたかったよ、宗十郎君。
And how I so wanted to forget, dear Soujirouu. No sooner had she felt a slither of sentiment, she returned to her unbreakable resolve. She was raised as the heir to the Aozaki household, taught to never question the morality of her actions. That was why, even now, she knew exactly what she had to do.
でもよかった。
I'm glad that went well.
It's a good thing you have two, like, freaking magical healers right next to you here. Holy shit, Soujirouu. Soujirouu muttered, unmoving perhaps because of the pain in his broken arms. He did not look at Aoko. Instead, his gaze was focused on Alice, who was lying prone in some way away. Aoko thought he looked lonely.
よかったって何がよ。
That went well. What did? No, Aoko was still conscious as she asked, spurring him on. They were mere steps from each other, Close enough to touch hands. Their quiet voices carried in the stillness.
私たちが無事だったからなんて言ったら怒るわよ。
Don't you dare say you're happy we're alive, or I'll be so pissed. She was not joking. Soujirouu turned away from her slightly, shaking his head.
口にするのは3度目だけど、青崎の心配はしていないんだ。
I'll say it a third time. But I'm not worried about your safety, Aozaki.
いや、さっきはちょっと意識が飛んだようなんだけど。
You know, I could swear I blacked out back there for just a moment.
Ah. Ah! He said, as an embarrassed smile crossed his face. Soujirouu, what is up with you? The first time he outright fainted, but the second time his passion pushed the dizziness and nausea aside. He just calmly did what he could as best as he could. Nevertheless, no matter how calm he tried to be, deep within festered a very real rage.
じゃあ何が良かったのよ、宗十郎。
Okay, Soujirouu, what is it you think went so well? Aoko's voice had a slight tinge of annoyance. Soujirouu responded.
だって、ようやく約束が守れた。そっちだけが約束を守ってるのに、こっちは果たせなかっただろ。
Because I was finally able to keep my promise. You held up your end of the deal, but I hadn't delivered yet.
それがずっと気になっていたんだ。その機会があって、本当に良かった。
That always bothered me. I'm so glad I got the chance to set things straight.
His relief expressed itself as a small but heartfelt smile. You guys know that Touko is still there. Aoko listened, astonished. For a moment she could not recall what promise Soujirouu was talking about. And she remembered what he was talking about. What she had told him all that time ago in the amusement park. Her mind went blank.
あいつをやっつけるのに協力したら、俺のことは見逃してくれる？
If I agree to help you kill that thing, will you let me go?
He proposed a deal, but in the end he hadn't been of any use. It must have been eating away at him this time. That's what he meant. Oh my god. Aoko considered the agreement binding, but only for herself.
あんなどうでもいいことを。
You were worried about that? She muttered in disbelief. Soujirouu gave a nod and affirmed with a tiny voice.
約束は自分のために果たすものだって教えてくれたのは青崎だ。
You were the one who taught me that promises are things you make to yourself, Naozaki.
だから君が守っている限り俺も守らないといけない。
So long as you can keep your word, I need to keep mine.
ずっと俺はそうしたかったんだ。
How are you? What is up with him exactly?
What a weight off my shoulders.
As if listening to a confessional, Aoko stayed silent. She could not find the words to say anyway. Soujirouu proved ever the enigma. Taking such a trivial promise so seriously, and speaking so sincerely about something so basic. She could not wrap her head around how he had beaten a werewolf. But his personality? That was the true mystery. There was no use trying to figure that out now. To Aoko Ozaki, he was a riddle wrapped in an enigma, wrapped in a conundrum.
それじゃあ借りは返したから帳尻はゼロだ。
So, I've paid my dues.
これで貸し借りはなしだぞ、青崎。
We're even, Ozaki.
Soujirouu said lightly, perhaps attempting to break the silence. Normally this would have passed her by, but she saw his kindness for what it was.
貸しがついたのはこっちの方よ。
It's me who owes you one now.
これじゃあどうやって返していいかわからないじゃない。
I don't even know how to begin to pay you back. Aoko grumbled. I mean, you could heal him. That would probably help a lot. Soujirouu nodded in happy agreement.
それより青崎の足なんか塞がってるな。
Anyway, your leg looks a lot better.
もしかしてもう立てるのか？
Can you stand?
Hello, Saw, welcome to the stream. Ah! She shouted with a stubborn look as if to say, well, duh, obviously. Ever amazed by her grit, he offered her his right hand. Despite being broken at the elbow, to Aoko it looked as sturdy as ever. By all appearances, it was beyond recovery. It would be for the rest of his life. Even so, he seemed to be able to ignore the pain for Aoko's sake.
ほんと、あんたってバカ。
You really are hopeless. She uttered under her breath, looking up at him. As much as she hated to admit it, she could not refuse his hand. Resigning herself, she reached out to Soujirouu. But her hand never oh shit. A small bell chimed. A line of wind whipped through the air. It cut through his waist like a guillotine. Oh shit. Oh! Pieces began to fall. What were those things dripping before her eyes? Aoko could not remember who they belonged to.
Soujirouu?
Soujirouu? That used to be his name, right? The name of whoever lay in the red snow in front of her. His face now rested on the ground beneath her chin. Now he's gonna do some ultimate regen shit, isn't he? Oh shit. Hello, Blink, welcome to the stream. The smell of viscera assaulted her nostrils. A river of blood flowed from what used to be his stomach. It happened so fast. Too fast for her mind to process, in fact. There's no way he's just dead. No way. Her only solace was that he probably did not suffer. How could she think that so calmly, especially after what she had witnessed? Her blood boiled at her own stupidity. Which begged the question, how should she treat the one who did this? She had used all her anger on herself. She had none left to give anyone else. Hello, Dustblight, welcome to the stream. But this hatred was hers, and hers alone. Her problem was this. Could she muster the emotions from this drought of anger? She was not sure, but the thought of hunting them down made her smile unconsciously in anticipation. Aoko turned to the old school building, to where Touko was standing with her arm out in front of her. She had used the same rune magecraft she used against Aoko and Alice, except Soujirouu had no magic crests. Touko's amber eyes were narrowed, staring intensely at the fallen corpse. As to what she might have been feeling, Aoko could not care less. Even if Touko felt regret, Aoko would never forgive her as long as she drew breath.
やはり君からこうしておくべきだったな。
I should have killed you when I had the chance. Touko was not speaking to Aoko, but to the dead body. What's he gonna do? There's gotta be some ultimate regen shit going on soon. There's gotta be. He's gotta pull out. Like, what the fuck was all the fucking Chekhov's gun of his fucking neck bandages? There's gotta be. No, I refuse. I absolutely refuse to believe he's dead. No way in hell. There was no response. No clouds of breath. I believe in Soujirouu. Coming to terms that he was truly dead, Aoko pushed herself up to her feet.
案外無様ね。
That was surprisingly gruesome for you. Yeah, but you can't bring the dead back to life, but he's not dead. I don't think he's dead at all. I don't think he's dead. No way in hell he's dead. Facing her sister in the distance, Aoko spoke hoarsely.
でも正しい選択だわ。これで勝負はやり直しだもの。
But you made the right choice. Now we can finish this. I am so glad I did not stop here. Yeah, for sure. She turned away from Soujirouu and stared at Aoko. People die when they're killed, yes, but he is not killed. I do not believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. They stood far apart. Farther apart than their positions made them seem. Though there was nothing left to say, the two of them exchanged words in respect of the fact that they were once sisters. Ooh. Once. Huh.
ああ、魔術刻印という私の切り札はこの通りで、人狼というカードもお前の切り札の前に敗れ去った。
Right. You've seen the aces up my sleeve. My magic crest and the werewolf you've trumped.
だが、そちらも刻印を使い切り、彼も今息絶えた。
I've used all my crests up. And your trump card's been torn to pieces.
互いに決定打はなくなったわけだ。
Stalemate.
そうね。私も甘かった。人狼が再起不能になった時点で、あなたが敗北を認めたなんて勝手に思い上がるんだから。
Looks that way. I suppose I was naive too. I should have known you wouldn't accept defeat after your werewolf failed.
本来ならそうなるんだけど、あなたがそんなに諦めがいいのなら、この町に戻ってきはしないものね。
If you weren't so stubborn, you'd have never come back to Misaki.
本当に甘かった。
I really was naive. It was clear to Touko that Aoko was trying to suppress her emotions. Aoko was right, though. Her sister had counted on Beowulf to succeed. As mages, no matter what cards Aoko or Alice had in their hands, they were helpless against a werewolf. But then Soujirouu had shown up and Touko couldn't win as long as he was around. Unfortunately, though he'd stopped the werewolf, he had been defenseless against the mage. It's rock, paper, scissors here. So she had to kill him. With Soujirouu out of the way, no one could hold Beo back. It would take time for him to recover, but as long as his wounds were only mental, that could be overcome. Alice and Alco could try to attack again before he recovered, but Alice was being kept in check by the poison, so Touko still had the advantage. Still, mate, still. The battle would drag on. Unless Alco were to use it. Oh, wow. Holy shit. Oh, wow, that is a horrifying look. Damn. Powdery snow began to whirl around. The air around her wailed. It was magecraft that transcended all that was mystical. The gate to miracles beyond human comprehension, ready to show itself.
やる気のようね、青子。
Holy shit, wow. You always did love to fight, Touko. Touko released the crest maintaining the fields. With that, her grandfather would be freed, and the barriers around Misaki would be restored. Which was not what Touko wanted, but it was that or forfeit her life. The crests at her disposal were now twice as powerful as her sisters. Helen Araku welcomed the stream. Alco gazed at this new threat with her eyes half closed. None of this was her concern. Far removed from the situation, she was searching for something hidden deeper inside herself, desperate to reach it. There it was, an odd feeling, like picking up algae. It was not the fire of emotion. It was not solid, nor great. It must have been what people meant by rising to the occasion. Abandoning thought itself, Alco held on to that feeling as she stared at her enemy.
いいわよ、トウコ。
All right, Touko. She spoke softly, yet more loudly than a scream.
お望み通り、本当の魔法を見せてあげる。
You want true magic? You got it. Focusing her power into the dim crests on her right arm, she weaved the words together. A single incantation. A final, heartfelt farewell. A brilliant blue-colored magic, taking time back to when a certain someone had been blessed. How did she get this? Did she actually have it all along? To put it simply, magecraft is human wisdom. It is the world as we know it. Magic is the singularity that exists beyond either of those. At the beginning, the first changed all. Next, the second recognized many. In answer, the third showed the future. Tethered, the fourth concealed itself. And the final fifth had long since lost its significance. So there were actually five. Someone once said, had it only ended at the third. Magecraft is the study of history, feats of our making and life order orbiting the planet. But true magic is the providence of a god beyond the heavens. Why do those who stand on the earth extol the virtues of miracles beyond humankind and the planet? This was an undeniable sin. Magic was the enemy of humanity. That is why those who obtain a new magic are killed by the Red Shadow.
聞け、万物の霊長。
Hear me, prime species of all creation! Alka's voice resonated through and high above the winter skies. The air began to fracture, turning the scenery to broken glass. Touko wondered whether she should fight or flee. She decided to try and keep her feelings in check and see this through. But the object of her obsession for so many years was right in front of her. Rationality was slipping from her grasp. Both of their fates were now uncertain. Touko had an overwhelming advantage when it came to her crests in the terrain. When it came to true magic, however, if the Ozaki magic was anything like Alice Quanji's fairy tale monsters, then maid's strength was not a part of the equation. At this point, it was Touko against magic itself. And there was no winning against truth. The transcendence and idiosyncrasy of true magic rendered things like magecraft irrelevant.
だが
But can you? Touko stared at her sister, wondering if she could actually use it. Her proclamation lacked conviction. She had raised her voice, but that was out of discipline. It had not been the arrogant conviction to sacrifice someone else for her own gain. Having not been chosen to inherit it, Touko could not imagine what the magic in her sister was. Only that it was a force violent enough to change the world. No human mind could withstand the audacity required to make an enemy of the world itself. Especially not someone as indecisive as her sister. The power of magic would surely cripple her.
そりゃね。
Well... Feeling Touko's eyes on her, Alice doubted herself. She could not help but hesitate. Terror gripped her heart tighter.
でも、だからって。
I have to. She could not run away forever. Her hesitation and terror meant she would never forgive herself for stopping now. Closing her eyes, she pushed herself into the final stage. Time stopped, like a light being switched off. She submerged herself in her own darkness. Everything froze. Only she moved. Everything around her disappeared as she passed a limitless stream of stars. And as soon as she did, she wanted to disappear into the empty thoughtlessness place. She wanted to disappear into the empty, thoughtlessness place she arrived in without any answers. Is she gonna turn back time? Is that the ticking clock? Not again. The Red Shadow will surely come this time. Suddenly. Oh. Who's this? Who are these thoughts? Is this Alko? Suddenly, I saw a new memory. Possibly because I used another to make the trade for... I heard a familiar yet new sound. I wish for nothing. I wish for nothing.
I seek nothing.
That was the red figure, I'm guessing. Only to fuse with the consciousness that hurtles backward in time to zero. This sound, the bitter, sad meaninglessness pulls me by my hair. But I have to resist. The red ghost was always going to be my biggest hurdle.
I must forget the value of life. I must forget.
Something of death. God, it was too fast! The sound persists. Why does it? I hate auto-scrolling in visual novels! It's got nothing to do with this journey. It's just an external distraction. And yet, I think I finally understand. I know what noise is making me so uneasy. What the? The unsettling whispers were directed at me. Or perhaps the red shadow was perplexed by the quiet soul listening to it. It glares at me, its eyes full of hatred. How could I be so unprepared? Don't tell me. You can't be serious. You're gonna turn me into your prey for that?
That is your everything. You have nothing else.
The effect of rewinding. Yep, that's what she's doing. The decision to never say never. His prime, his meaningless life. She negated it. She used her superior power to negate that sound, which was an absolute rule to him. Just brushed it aside, like it was a cobweb. She is turning back time. The sound disappeared. A new one replaced it.
I wish for nothing. I want nothing.
A pure, obedient heart.
That's why you get nothing.
A life of falsehood, led by affirmation. This is ridiculous. My legs move toward the future, but they stop. Change of plans. I'm taking a different path. Nothing's changed. It's just something that's made me real mad. How could I put it? It's like, oh, this is what, how the cat. This is what her grandfather must have used in the cat. You call this the past? You idiot! If I don't complain about something to someone, I'll explode! Even if it's just to the voice, or to he who hears it. But the part of me who just stays quiet and watches. Or to the one who did that to him. With no answer, I open my eyes.
告げる
I declare. Alka released everything she had dragged up. As for what was there or what she saw, she could not remember. All she held on to was the fury that burned in her heart. Pushed on by something, she did not know what, she opened the door to magic. The change was extraordinary. Beneath her, the snow vanished, replaced by a small patch of lush green grass. This ground had never existed under the frozen blanket. It had been written into a new landscape. The very elements rejected her, as if the world itself was fighting back. The electrical discharge lashed at her body. The miracle threatened to destroy the world. The world had to protect itself. It moved to expunge her. Pain scorched her every cell, trying to tear away her consciousness. But she did not falter. All this pain and this loneliness was to take her to the root. Ever since inheriting true magic, she had suffered this torture time and time again. She contended against the voiceless protest of the cosmos. The burden engulfed her retinas and nerves in flames. And then... light. She finally understood. She remembers why she came back and what she wanted to scream.
青を示す我が名において告げる
By the name Blue, I speak for order. Hear me! A censuring voice told her to stop. At the edges of oblivion, her hand touched the true form of magic. The snarling red shadow was there, telling her it was no use. So much doubt, so much fear. But such things mean nothing to her. To me! I don't care about a magician's obligations or the destruction of mankind. I'm sick and tired of hearing about it. I only have one reason for doing anything right now. God, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. I just want to save him!
No, say.
All is not sane, yet all shall be right. A blue whirlwind whisked up around her. Casting aside her doubts and sorrow, the magician played a trick upon the world. Oh, wow! How far is she turning back time? Time flowed backward. Jeez. Childhood memories were overwritten. Shit! White flowers appeared, as far as the eye could see. Brighter than snow, they rippled like a wave across the world, devouring it. Oh, she got new clothing! Oh, holy shit, wow! Oh, wow!
Timeless words.
Oh, she looks so badass! Oh, wow! 5 timeless words. Order has fallen to ruin. What was declared had come to be. In this time and place alone, the 5th magic made itself known. In the blink of an eye, the snowy clearing had transformed. A sea of fully bloomed white flowers blanketed the grounds. Only the dilapidated school building and the bare winter trees signified this was the original world. The once cold wind now blew with a pleasant warmth across the landscape. How many years did she turn things back? Even the night sky was once again teeming with stars. If one reached out, one could almost touch them. There was a mix of comfort and solitude, quiet enough to carry the sound of insects flying through the air. A scene far removed from the impurity and grief of humans. A world with nothing, yet one that needed nothing. It was his most precious memory. The winter tundra had changed into a spring meadow. Alko's so-called true magic confused Touko. Sure, it was pleasing to the eye, but she wanted to see something less idyllic. Alko's spell was clearly no small feat, but the surrounding mana had not changed. Better to be confused, though, than deal with something like Alice Kwanji's flat snock. The only changes seemed to be the flower field and Alko's appearance. She seemed to receive some enhancement to her physical form, but it would never be enough to match Touko.
確かに魔法といえば魔法だが
Okay, so I know this is magic. Touko said with a hint of annoyance.
あいにくとお互い夢見る年頃ではないんだ
But I'll be honest.
This is a bit of a letdown.
まさかそれで終わりではないだろ。
Seriously, you are tempting fate. You are tempting fate at a time when fate has no meaning. Touko, what the fuck are you doing?
There has to be more, surely. This can't be it.
How could we again walking through the sea of flowers? But she was not heading towards Touko.
いえ、これでおしまいよ。私も、あなたも。
This is it. For me and for you. Alka's words sent a wave of unease through Touko. Her sister's voice seemed different somehow. It was mostly the same in pitch, so it had to be the tone. No, that was the same too. Something was off. Could it be? It was then Touko noticed something that else that had changed. Not just Alko in the clearing. The severed body lying at Alko's feet. It was now whole. Yup. Corpse reanimation. Wound healing. It did not look like Alko had used a significant formula. And besides, regenerating a body did not bring it back to life. Since the dawn of time, even true magic has never been able to bring back the dead. Really? Not even true magic? But the body of the boy behind Alko was moving. It was breathing like it was taking a nap.
死者の蘇生が青崎の魔法。いや違う。あれは蘇生というより。
Can the Ozaki magic resurrect the dead? No way. This isn't resurrection, it's...
Before she could think of an answer, Touko realized what had seemed out of place to her before. Alko's mannerisms appeared beyond her years. Her appearance had changed ever so slightly, but beyond there had been a change from within. By the time Touko arrived at the seemingly impossible conclusion, Alko would close the distance between them.
タービン、セット。
Circuit. Connected. Alko raised her left hand to eye level. Oh shit. Touko could see, no hear the magical energy generating inside Alko. It was a sound Touko had never heard before. Alko only possessed a single function. Low-grade circuits no better than any other third-rate mage, so she generated magical energy at a much lower rate than Touko. However, this speed was absurdly quick, moving even faster than the blood pumping through her body. Magecraft could vibrate, but how in the hell were the activated magic circuits audible? Even the association had never heard of such a thing.
我が目前に勝利ありき。
Onward to victory!
Shit. Spurred to action by the sudden dread she felt, Touko hurriedly carved runes into the air. Touko summoned the divine protection of victory, Tyr, to surround herself with a barrier, which was further enhanced by her crests. Paying it no mind, Alko held her arm steady, not moving it up to strike her target directly.
まだ展開。
Bullets. Deploy.
Alko commanded herself succinctly. Damn, she Toho now. Oh shit. Oh. This was beyond magecraft. In just a few words, she had fired 20 magic bullets. Like a meteor shower, the bullets smashed through the rocket-proof rune barrier, as well as Touko's spell-woven coat.
装填ではなく展開だと。
You shot them without loading!
The protective runes lining her coat screamed. They would not be able to take another barrage like that. And she had already taken internal injuries. She loathed to admit it, but Alko vastly outclassed Touko in terms of raw power. Even harder to admit was that her sister probably had not even brought out the big guns yet.
暗殺、サウエル、イングズ。
Ansu, Solio, Igwats! Jumping backward, Touko drew more runic symbols in the air. In response, her crest burns brightly. But
遅い
too slow! With a single word, Aoko nullified the runes, dissolving them before they could be given meaning. The power of Aoko's words has surpassed the magical energy of Touko's rune magecraft. With the runes nullified, Aoko continued advancing through the white flowers. From her calmness to the robust spinning of her magic circuits and breathing, she was different. A woman with sublime self-control, a trait only found in mages with a lifetime of combat experience.
あれは時間か
You traveled in time! Given the evidence, that was the only explanation for the Ozaki magic. Aoko's magic circuits had not been amplified. That would have been impossible anyway. Like Touko, she would have to externalize them, which would just increase the scope of her magical energy and techniques. By nature, the quality of a mage's magic circuits did not change. But Aoko was now clearly a superior mage to Touko. So there was only one logical conclusion. In an instant, she had grown from an amateur to a veteran. She fast-forwarded her own time. Did she age herself as well as turn back time for Soujirouu? Oh god. What a sacrifice. The scarred red mage turned her back on her sister and ran. So she knew she could not win. She fled towards the old school building. Aoko did not fire. Not out of pity, but because she deduced that an attack at this range was risky. She went to chase after her sister, but stopped suddenly. A few words caught in her throat. She took a small breath.
Alice, そいつお願い。
Watch him, Alice. She said, slightly embarrassed by the maturity of her voice. White petals flitted through the air. Without looking back, she made after Touko, her long hair flowing behind her.
Huh?
His eyelids snapped open. At last, Soujirouu awoke from his long slumber. Lying on his back, he gazed up at the stars. The trees around him created a porthole into space. Despite seeing all this for the first time, he felt an uncomfortable sense of déjà vu. So many questions. What happened before he fell asleep? Why had he been sleeping? Everything was just so hazy. So she turned back Soujirouu's time, or was it like an equivalent exchange thing? Like, was she able to only turn back Soujirouu's time by turning her own time forward? Or did she do both separately? Either way, that is a huge sacrifice for her. Oh my god. Everything was just so hazy. It was like he had walked out of the door one minute and woke up in a bed the next. With so many thoughts clouding his mind, he could barely recall his own name. All he could remember was a girl he'd never seen before. And something thin around his neck.
しずきくん。
Suzuki. The voice, quiet but clear, belonged to the girl named Alice Kalanji, who was at his side.
そういえばそうだった。
Oh, yeah.
He sat up, mumbling incoherently. The black-clad girl knelt next to him. Wow, what a lovely picture this is.
花だ。
Flowers.
He said, paying no mind to Alice. Under the blue moonlight, spring flowers swayed, surrounded by dead trees and snow. Against the curtain of night, white petals danced in the breeze like butterflies. Staring long and hard at the spectacle, Soujirouu suddenly raised his fingers to his neck. He moved carefully like he was touching a wound. Then, gradually, he began squeezing. Harder, harder.
しずきくん、
Suzuki! The voice of the girl beside him brought him back to reality.
せっかく戻れたのに。また行くの？
Leaving so soon. You just came back. She sounded both sad and reproachful. But Soujirouu did not understand why. Seeing the uncharacteristic concern in her eyes snapped him to his senses.
行くってどこに？
Leaving? Where would I go?
His fingers fell away from his neck. Without answering, she blankly looked to the sky. Though there was only the infinite darkness of space.
まあいいや。それより俺は何をしてたんだろ
Well, whatever. What was I doing again?
う。なんか変だ。ごちゃごちゃしてる。
My head feels strange. Like it's full of cobwebs.
Soujirouu tilted his head in confusion. Alice observed him motionlessly. This bewildered boy was a far cry from the one that made short work of a werewolf. Then again, this was Soujirouu. As she stared at him, she realized she did not have an answer he could understand. So she tried asking a question. The same question she had asked him repeatedly as he slept, but eventually gave up expecting a response to.
今までしずきくんは何をしていたの？
Tell me, do you remember what you were doing, Suzuki? Her quiet question was spoken like an enthralling spell of magecraft. Said spell seemed to work, and Soujirouu sank into a sea of memories. Atop the bright white hill, they quietly sat for a while like siblings.
誰かの声が聞こえた気がする。
I remember hearing someone's voice.
何かを聞いているようだった。けど、自分は最後まで一言も返せなかった。
I think they were asking me something. But I couldn't respond at all.
Though consumed by the darkness of death, he could still vaguely recall the girl's question. He was not aware that he had died, but it seemed a fragment of time remained from when he had been with her. Soldier's expression darkened, filled with regret. Yeah, Alice was siblings owned by the narrator. Oh God, I was thinking that's exactly what I was thinking. Poor Alice. Looking at his profile, Alice pressed him further.
それで欲しいものは見つかった？
And did you find what you were looking for? Remembering that someone had asked him questions, he gave a slight nod.
ああ、そうだった。
Yeah, I did.
けれどね、アリス。そんなものは見つからないって思っていたんだ。
But I honestly didn't think I would, Alice.
ずっとそう思っていた。
This whole time. I didn't think I would.
The regret in his voice was accompanied by a hint of strength. Lowering his gaze, Soujirouu saw a white flower garden that looked like something from the afterlife. It shone brightly, captivating him.
思い出した。青子の前でざっくり言ったんだっけ。
Oh, wow. He remembers.
I remember now. I think I got cut in half in front of Alco.
なのに生きているのはどういうことなんだろ
But then, why am I alive?
Soujirouu said, prodding his body curiously. His arms were their old selves again, but what of Alco? Wow, yeah, she even repaired, yeah, she healed all his wounds as well. Damn, so what is gonna, it feels like Alco is gonna have to pay some kind of heavy price for this. Like what she said about like the Red Hood hunting her down. I don't know if that's like metaphorical or whatever. About the time that she gave up. Fucking typos, man. Look at this bullshit. He turned toward Alice for an answer, who was sat among the flowers looking sullen.
巻き戻されたのよ、しずきくんは。
You were rewound, Suzuki.
この風景も本来はあなたの記憶だけど、わからない。
This place is from your memories. Don't you remember? Alice seemed to be speaking in riddles. Are we gonna learn if this place is from his memories? What is it?
俺の記憶って。
Ooh.
その割には知らないところなんだけど。
Did he have his memories taken? Are we finally gonna learn what's going on?
My memories. That's weird. I'm drawing a blank.
今しずきくんの時間は青子に使われているから、それが戻されるまで思い出すことはないわ。
Right now, your time is being used by Alco. Until that time is returned, you won't be able to remember. She answered ominously as she cast her gaze over the flower garden.
でも、これが消えてしまうのは残念ね。
A shame all this won't stay.
元に戻れば、思い返せるのは私だけなのに。
Once your time's returned, I'll be the only one who remembers. Well, you could say anything you want to him then at this time, Alice. This is like your best opportunity to get your feelings off your chest. Just to see how he'll react. Looking at the white blossoms, she smiled momentarily.
おう。
Her words only confused him further.
アリス、君答える気がないんだろ
You're not gonna tell me, are you, Alice?
He said dejectedly, prompting Alice to face him. What emotions lay inside those deep eyes?
意味のない話だけど、聞きたい？
It's pointless having me tell you. But do you want to hear anyway?
う。聞きたい。アリスが教えてくれるなら、なおさらだ。
Yeah. If it's not too bothersome, Alice.
Soujirouu nodded enthusiastically, while Alice took a deep breath and closed her eyes. When she spoke, spoke in as caring a tone as she was capable of.
結論だけ言うと、あなたは一度死んで生き返ったの。
The long and short of it is, you died. Then you came back to life.
しずきくんが瞳子さんに殺されてから、青子が目を覚ますまでの5分間分の時間を巻き戻して。
Looks like people don't die even if they're killed sometimes. If you have true magic. After you were killed by Touko, Alice rewound the 5 minutes before you opened your eyes.
その時、あなたは10年近い年月を青子に使われた。
I mean, Aoko rewound the 5 minutes before you opened your eyes. Meanwhile, she used roughly 10 years of your time. Oh, so is his lifespan shortened? Is that what it is?
2人とも肉体年齢は変わってないから、中の時間だけ持っていったんでしょうね。
Neither of you changed physically, so she must have borrowed time from you mentally.
だから今、この景色を懐かしく思えるのは青子だけ。
That's why right now, this beautiful scenery would only bring back memories for Aoko, in possession of your time.
そして、
And... Oh god, Aoko is not going to remember either? Oh shit. And once the time exchange was over, neither Aoko nor Soujirouu will remember what happened during these moments. When Aoko used someone else to channel her true magic, it did not affect her alone. If she were on time for only herself, the temporal inconsistencies would form part of her own experience. However, this was proper time travel. The inconsistencies would be corrected. When the magic ended, both Aoko's memories of this place and Soujirou's unfamiliarity with it would be corrected. This miracle would become unrealized. Only the observers would remember this brilliant white sea of flowers. Alice and Touko.
時間を持っていく
She borrowed my time?
Soujirouu asked, his head tilting even further at Alice's general explanation. Yeah, exactly. She recalled how Aoko said that if you gave Soujirouu a roundabout answer, he would stop asking questions, even if he did not comprehend it. Wait, the red lines I was seeing when Aoko was using incantations was Soujirou's past? She was seeing his memories and learned the truth? Oh my god. That was Soujirou's memories? I did not, oh my god, I didn't realize that. Oh, his memories were tampered with. Oh my god. Oh, well, this feels like almost like a teaser for something. Then rather than like a full explanation. Holy shit. What the fuck? Oh, I wish that was clearer. I didn't even realize that. Oh my god, I'm sorry for being a dummy. Jeez, I didn't even realize that that was his memories. Fuck me.
しずきくんを生き返らせる方法はなかったから、命の復元より死そのものの回避を青子は試みたのよ。
There was no way to resurrect you. So instead, Aoko attempted to circumvent your death completely.
まだ青子には無理なのか、それとも今回もひよったのか。
Hello, Emerald Dash. Welcome to the stream. Wait, but isn't this story from like 20 years ago? How would it be part one of a trilogy? Perhaps because she was Perhaps because she was unable, or because she was hesitant.
大きな操作は避けて小さな操作。自分とあなただけの交換にとどめたようね。
She avoided any large-scale manipulation and settled for a smaller exchange between the two of you. Ooh, that's romantic.
あなたは今5分間だけ時間を飛んだことになるわ。
That means you've effectively jumped through time by 5 minutes.
仮に遠い未来、この時間を検索できる人がいたとしても、あなただけは誰にも見つけられない。だって時間軸の上にいなかったんですもの。
Even if someone from the distant future was able to look through time, they couldn't find you in those 5 minutes, because you don't exist in regular time anymore.
そして同時に、青子は自分の時間を上乗せするために、あなたから時間を借り受けた。
Damn, like King Crimson shit right there. Simultaneously, Aoko borrowed your time to advance her own.
多分幼年期の時間でしょうね。個人の時間操作は忘却している部分の方が楽だと聞くし。
More than likely.
しずきくん、
Time from your childhood. From what I understand, individual time manipulation is easier when using forgotten memories. Suzuki? Should I slow down? Alice asked with her eyes. All Soujirouu could do was nod.
つまり2つの奇跡を青子は行使したの。
So, Aoko used 2 miracles.
あなたの体の巻き戻しと自分の体の早送りね。
She rewound your body and fast-forwarded her own.
しずきくんの時間に介入する際、ついでに10年分の時間を借り受けて未来の自分を持ってきた。
So it's basically Hunter x Hunter type thing. Oh. Oh, wow. Will she have to pay a price for it, though? I wonder. When going into your time, she borrowed 10 years of yours to bring her future self closer.
だから今瞳子さんを殺そうとしているのは27歳分の時間を持った
Damn,
青
and
崎青子ということになるわ。
she looks as good as ever. Holy shit, wow. Therefore, the one trying to kill Touko right now is actually Naoko Ozaki with 27 years of experience. What on earth was Alice talking about? Sojirou's expression gave away his thoughts, though the part about Touko made him furrow his brow.
瞳子さんを殺すって青子が。
Aoko's going to kill Touko?
もう終わってるでしょうけど。
If she hasn't already, yes. As soon as Alice answered, Soujirouu sped off. Kicking up white petals behind him as he ran, the brave boy who defeated a werewolf was back. Alice watched him go. On a snowy night, the same boy ran down Shirunozuka Hill for her, too. Soujirouu entered the old school building. Lights flashed and the sounds of destruction exploded around him, threatening to turn the area into a burial ground. Still, he remained focused.
ほら、
See, Aoko?
悪いけれど やっぱり無駄だったわ、青子。
Sorry, but I knew this would happen. Her words only reached the white flowers around her. Aoko knew Soujirouu too well, so she wanted Alice to stop him. If he tried to interfere in the battle against Touko, she could not protect him this time. But it was too late to celebrate Aoko's judgment now. The girl in black had no intention of going after him. She simply sat for a while, gazing forlornly at the transient flower garden. Here we go. Oh wow, look at that fancy ass freaking crest. A storm of magic bullets struck down a hail of lightning blades. A mage's workshop was their home base and last line of defense, featured an abundance of defensive spells designed to cut down brazen challengers and thieves. The old school building was no exception, painstakingly rigged by the puppet master and rune mage, Touko Ozaki. A reflection of her bizarre obsessions, the workshop was set to indiscriminately destroy any intruders. Stay still for one damn second, you freak! Touko complained as she ran down the hallway, activating her traps along the way. But nothing seemed to work. None of the runes, regardless of their quality or quantity, could slow her sister down. Her reaction speed and ability to predict attacks could only be described as transcendent. Even magic bullets she fired from both her arms were too much, destroying the runes in the very walls that housed them. Damn.
それで一人前のつもりか、単細胞め。熟成したところで壊すことしかできないとは呆れたな。
Is this all your newfound maturity has got you? The ability to smash things around like a child? You just can't stop tempting fate. Seriously. And in a series called Fate, of all things. As she spat out her words, the ceiling opened, increasing the pressure from the runes. Invisible walls popped up in the hallway. Aoko stopped and swung her right leg upward. Straight towards the ceiling. Her foot grew through the thick air like a knife through butter, shattering the ceiling and the runes along with it.
あんたの方こそいつまで経ってもこの凝り性。
You're one to talk. Always going overboard.
どこもかしこもルーンだらけ。少しは遠慮ってもんがないの？宇宙要塞ばりに改造してんじゃないっての？
Don't you ever get fed up of creating runes? You're not trying to build a space fortress.
みんなの思い出の校舎なんだからもっと大切に扱いなさいよね。
This building holds precious memories for people, so show some damn respect! as she crouches it around too. The wooden boards along the hallway that had withstood decades of wind and snow were now destroyed. The chaos was inevitable. While Touko's runes cursed living creatures, Aoko's magic bullets destroyed all without prejudice.
優雅さのかけらもない。
You don't have an elegant bone in your body.
あんなのが自分の妹だと思うと。
To think you're my sister. Touko would do anything to change her blood, but there were more pressing matters at hand. The girl rushing her now was not the sister she remembered, but rather a more complete version of her. Touko couldn't afford to let her guard down for a second. But
笑わせる。そんなものが魔法であるものか。
this is supposed to be magic. Don't make me laugh. Localized time travel. Touko didn't believe that was the true nature of the Aozaki's magic. Aoko's transformation had to be a mere byproduct of true magic. She couldn't make heads or tails out of its depths even with Aoko having achieved it. At the very least, it was not so simple a miracle. After all, the concept of time travel was already made possible through the second magic. Record manipulation, revision of possibilities, and so forth involved the operation of parallel worlds. So there was no way that could be the fifth magic.
となると、次に出てくる疑問はこれか。
Which brings me to my next question, Aoko.
青子、貴様、その10年分の時間をどこから持ってきた？
Where the hell did you get those 10 years from? Damn.
あのボンクラからよ、悪い。
From that moron outside! Got a problem?
後で返すんだから、あんたに非難される覚えはありませんけど。
I'm gonna give his time back after, so don't you dare judge me! That made sense. There was a bias, but the amount of time on this axis had not been changed. But...
では、あの5分間はどうする？
So what are you going to do with those 5 minutes?
まさか私を始末した後、彼を元の状態に戻すのか？
Finish me, then return him to his former state. Is that your plan? Aoko stopped in her tracks. Touko took aim at Aoko's glaring oversight. Azaki magic and Aoko's humanity were inconsistent.
そうだ。時間操作では死者の蘇生は許されない。
Yes, you can't revive someone by manipulating time.
お前がしたことは一時だけの気休めか。
Really? Oh shit. Uh-oh. All you've done is console yourself for a moment. The magic crest on Toko's back began to demonstrate their true worth. Drawing upon the magical energy stored in the crests, she materialized her largest trap yet in the hallway.
あるいはより罪深い暴虐ということだ。
Or maybe you committed an even greater sin. 3 runestones appeared. Their scale and level of magical energy were wildly different from the other runes. Created by Touko herself at the Mages Association, they're replicas of one of the lost primordial runes created by a Nordic giant. 3 thin crystalline lenses amplified or carved runes tens of millions of times. They render projectiles like magic bullets ineffective. Even if Aoko's magical output far exceeded Touko's, these giant slabs were several times more powerful still. Aoko's signature magecraft could only release magical energy, so she had no way to defend or even evade the attack.
Main, set.
A fixed subjective axis. Pushing herself on, Aoko took a deep breath of resolve. Instead of defending or dodging, she went low and charged into the rune storm. Damn. You don't even exist within this time axis, do you? Infuriated by the realization, Touko set her magic crest to full power. The repeated second-long bursts of time travel, Aoko was able to avoid the runes completely. What the fuck? Oh my god, that's crazy. Oh, wow. Oh my god. Wow. That's insane. The ultimate dodge tank. Oh my god. She was either sending attacks impact to a different time or layering several thousands of herself atop one another. Whatever. No way she could keep up that kind of magical energy output.
1枚目
One down! Aoko kicked the crystal slab to pieces. 2 remained, distance 30 feet. Touko had 10 seconds of magical energy left, but that was all she needed. Aoko, on the other hand, would stop now if she had any common sense as a mage. She couldn't continue breaking the rules for much longer. Then again, time travel itself was breaking the rules.
Aoko!
Aoko! Let's see. Once again, Aoko used the same technique. Touko's suspicion turned into white-hot hatred. She couldn't care less about her time travel formula. It was the amount of magical energy she had. Where was she pulling the energy necessary to jump through time for so long?
やはりそうか。お前は。
Wait, I knew it! It was the death of Soujirouu Suzuki. If she had brought him back 5 minutes to when he was still alive, where would those 5 minutes go? Aoko's magic wasn't using parallel worlds to change this one. Is this using like some kind of magical version of the relativity formula? Converting time into energy? She had only around Soujirou's 5 minutes. Then logically he returned to being a corpse as soon as the magic ended. Time travel that didn't change the world couldn't change the past. Therefore, she wanted to save him. She either had to truly resurrect him, or send those 5 minutes of reality somewhere far away without returning them.
2枚目
Two down! Aoko showed no sign of slowing. From behind her crystal barrier, Touko glared at Aoko with disdain.
答えろアオコ貴様彼の時間をどこにやった
Answer me, Aoko! What did you do with his time?
そこにあった熱量の帳尻をどうやって合わせている
How are you going to balance all that heat?
そんなの知るかあいつの時間なら遥かな未来に置いてきたわよ
How the hell should I know? I tossed his time somewhere to the distant future! What? 15 feet to go. Faced with such madness, Touko wanted to cover her eyes. She put the dead of the present in the distant future? A time paradox would have been more humane. Such an enormous haphazard consumption of heat could not be allowed. After all, time travel alone required a massive amount of energy. Magical energy was required to bring things from somewhere else. At the same time, losing something that exists here consumed an incredible amount of energy. And what about the magical energy used for cooling? It either fell out of equilibrium. It would mean total chaos. The distortion caused by her magic would come to affect this entire sector of space.
バカここに極まったな
How in the hell can you be so dumb?
何千億年後に来る宇宙の死滅人類の行く末に待つデッドエンドにさらなる負債を押し付ける気か
She's sending it to the end of time. Oh my god. That's how. Oh my god. You're going to pile that debt onto the dead end that humanity will reach. You're going to lay it at the heat of the universe.
この星の頭上に隕石を作っているようなものだぞ
That's like hanging a world-ending meteor over the head of this planet.
というかお前の重みでこの星を押しつぶす気か
Or are you planning on crushing the earth under your own weight? What? That last comment made Aoko's eyes widen. Her every step exerted such force it broke the floorboards beneath her feet. Well, I mean, the heat death of the universe would be so far in the future that 5 minutes would not even make a scratch to it.
その時はその時で今度は負債を過去に送ってやるわよそれなら文句ないんでしょ
I'll worry about that later. Next time I'll put the dead in the past. That better?
歪みに潰されるのは過去だけなんだから
Then only the past will be crushed by the distortion.
それで解決したつもりか
That's your master plan.
現在が確定している以上過去を消滅させてもいいと
Save the present by destroying the past.
それでいいのは私たちだけだ問題の総量宇宙の負債はどうする
That saves us. But what about the heat problem, the burden on the rest of the universe? Exactly. Even if the universe were closed or the present was still expanding, the absurd increase of heat consumption would become uncontrollable. That which waits for the end of infinite expansion, infinite consumption, and infinite growth is a future without hope. The nothingness before creation. Eventually the universe would burn up.
青子の青崎の魔法はその結末をより確かなものにするだけだ。その責任をお前は。
I mean, the Ozaki magic's only makes that conclusion more certain, and that's on you!
言われなくても分かってる。
Don't you think I know that already?
責任なんて私が生きてる間に何とかするわよ。
I'll figure it out. As long as I live, I'll figure something out! 5 feet to go. The rune blast now carrying all of Touko's hatred, focusing into a scorching hot laser beam. Her body being torn into by the intense heat, and her emotions raging. Alko dove her foot into the ground.
責任を取ると言ったな。ではその具体案は。
Oh, you'll take responsibility, will you? How exactly?
そんなのこれから考えるに決まってるでしょ。
I said I'd figure it out, didn't I? Starting now!
お前は最悪だ。
You make me sick! Damn, what an epic CG, holy shit. Touko's last defense was shattered. Close enough to connect, the two mages unleashed their magecraft. Red runes, blue ether, and a cascade of magic bullets. Touko Ozaki's crest were torn to pieces, and so was Touko herself. It was just as Alice said. By the time Soujirouu arrived, it was already over. The old school building's wooden boards survived the elements for decades, but they were not ready for a mage duel. The entrance door hung off its hinges. The floorboards groaned. The stairs were ready to collapse underfoot. Touko's escape and Alko's pursuit had left a trail of destruction leading all the way to the second floor. The chaos continued to the end of the hallway, by the stairs to the third floor. Touko sat in a heap with her back against the wall. Despite her injuries, she kept her eyes firmly on Alko. She was bleeding internally and had multiple broken bones. She would not be moving anytime soon. Possibly damaged by Alko's flying kick, her mystic eyes had ruptured from within, closing them indefinitely. Damn, ouch. Despite her battered and broken body, she was still breathing steadily, a testament to her stubbornness. Before her stood Alko, staring down at her uninjured.
屋上までは持つと思っていたんだが。
Thought I could make it to the roof. Touko was not trying to be facetious. She sounded genuinely disappointed. Alko responded with a cold glare. Her azure eyes had not changed one bit. They were as callous as ever, yet undeniably beautiful. From where she stood, Alko held her hand out toward Touko, like a hunter about to put a wounded prey out of its misery. The victor was decided. The mage came to steal land and got a death sentence for her trouble. The silence was disquieting. Moonlight peered through the demolished ceiling, illuminating the two sisters with its stare. The utterly mad sibling squabble was over. Now the fireworks were finished, and the cold wind had returned to claim the old school building.
何か言い残すことはある？
Any last words? Alka's voice cut through the silence. Touko thought for a moment, before lightly patting her coat pocket. Nothing. She frowned.
最後に一服と思ったが、あいにくお前を待っている間に吸い切ってしまってね。日本のタバコはうますぎていけない。
I thought I'd have one last smoke. But it looks like I burned through them all while waiting for you. They're bad for me anyway. Japanese cigarettes taste too good. Aoko gave a small nod.
なかなか常人には真似できない遺言だったわ。
Not exactly the last words I was expecting.
待て待て。いくら私でも遺言まで謎かけをする気はないよ。お望み通り、敗者は敗者らしく当倍をあげるから聞くといい。
Wait. Okay, fine. Tough crowd. I'll give you what you want. The meaningless final cry of a loser. Touko's voice was laden with sarcasm, but not hostility or hatred. Perhaps her vendetta was not directed at Aoko herself, but rather a product of two sisters born into a mage family.
青崎の魔法が時間旅行に端を発するものとは思わなかった。まだ事情がありそうだが、当事者ではない私には何ともね。
I never thought the Ozaki magic would be time travel. Some kinks obviously need ironing out. But that's not really for me to say.
ボンプにはわからない悩みだ。せいぜい大事に付き合っていけばいいさ。
What would I know anyway? Just take it seriously, and you'll be fine.
しかし、10年経ってもそれでは先が思いやられる。アリスは何をしていたんだか。
She's encouraging her. Huh. The fact that you took 10 years to figure it out doesn't give me confidence, though. I expected more of Alice.
アリスにしてはよく付き合ってくれた方よ。魔術師としてはいつまでも半人前っていうのが彼女の結論。
Alice helped in her own way. She doesn't think I'll ever make a real mage, though.
けどまあ、そうね。
Can't say I disagree.
あの狼とならいい勝負をしたんじゃない？
That wolf would have made for an interesting match.
ん？あれはダメだ。敗北を知ってしまった。もう完全じゃない。
Him? No. He's useless now that he's tasted defeat.
半人前に値で勝っていようが、魔法の前には得意性を見失うだろう。
Before you wielded magic, perhaps, but he's lost himself now.
ところで、青子。
Tell me something, Aoko.
お前の魔法とやらは手段か、それとも結果か。
Your magic. Is it cause? Or is it effect? Touko wanted to know if it came before or came after. Did Aoko need magic to get her where she needed to go? Or did she obtain magic as a result of reaching that place?
あとよ。私は扉の前で尻尾を巻いたからジジイの思惑なんて知らないけど。
In fact, I turned tail when I got to the door, So I never found out what that old man was thinking.
第一魔法と同じ経緯か。ますます業が深い。第2から第4はその場所へ到達するために生み出されたものと聞く。
Hold on, I just want to be clear after this. Hold on. So she reached it and then got it as a result, as opposed to using it to reach it. Ah, it's so complex.
Then it was the same process as the first magic. Even more sinful. I heard the second through the fourth were created to reach that place.
同族嫌悪は世の常だ。いずれ第一と食い合わなければいいのだがね。
If opposites attract, I guess similars repulse. Better hope that the first doesn't bite back.
しかし、扉ときたか。魔法の継承とはパスの継承のようだな。ではやはりここにユミルの入り口があると。
God damn it! I wish I knew what you were talking about!
But you'll reach the door then. Which tells me magic inheritance is similar to path inheritance. So Ymir's entrance was here all along.
Path? Like Honkai Star Rail? What the? I don't understand.
北欧かぶれのあなたにとってはね。私にとってはアカシャの門と言えるものよ。
That's the Scandinavian name. I call it the Gate of Akasha.
最初からそれを狙っていたんでしょあなたは。
And what you were after the whole time. Correct? Touko used every ounce of strength she could to find to nod.
望めば手に入るというのに何台も待つのは嫌だったんだ。ソフトはそれで決別したようなものだったよ。
And it was going to be mine. But I couldn't wait generations. That's where grandfather and I parted ways.
青崎に対する復讐心はそれには優先されなかった。
From then on, I had better things to do than chase revenge.
まあ、すべては終わったことだ。もう語る必要はない。
Well, it's over now. No use talking about it anymore.
最後に根源に触れた感想が聞きたいな。
There's just one last thing to ask. What was it like touching the root?
Touko spoke after taking a deep breath. Her last words show no trace of hatred. Alko remained silent as she began raising her right hand up high. She recalled her grandfather's orders. The source of true magic. Revealing one's knowledge or impressions of the root was strictly forbidden. But this was her sister's dying wish. Maybe it would be okay? The conversation would end the moment she brought her arm down. Then this rotting shell of a building would become her sibling's tomb. What harm could it do? And it's not like she planned to follow her grandfather's rules anyway.
白状するとね、姉さん。
I have a confession to make. Alko's voice carried through the blue hallway.
正直、全然わからなかったわ。
To be honest, I don't remember anything. Alko gave a blunt reply and brought her arm down like a bolt of lightning.
Or at least, she tried to. Oh! Her arm wouldn't listen to her. It wouldn't budge.
何のつもり？
What are you doing? Cursing Alice. Alko spat her question out with venom. Soujirouu materialized from behind, taking hold of her raised arm. Though unable to express it, Touko was shocked to see him too.
で、話して。
Let go. Without looking at him, or even at her restrained hand, Alko spoke sternly, her eyes forward. Come to think of it, at the amusement park he appeared out of nowhere to protect her from that puppet.
聞こえなかった。二度はないわよ。
Are you deaf? I won't say it again. She was not bluffing. If he interfered, even he would be given no mercy. I've decided to let you live. It would go against that promise, but he should know better. Even so, he maintained his grip on her arm.
いい加減に。
Do as your... As Alko turned around, oh my god! Is he going... Oh, OBS had a hiccup. I hope y'all are okay. Oh, what a time for OBS to have a hiccup. Voicelessly, quietly, without volition. Rustic gray eyes, questioning a deep sin.
言いたいことがあるならはっきり口にしなさい。
If you've got something to say, then spit it out.
それができないなら消えて。
Otherwise, get out of my face. What I said was, oh my god, after he's gonna, I thought he was gonna like turn her around and like kiss her. That's what I thought he was gonna do. Soujirouu gently released Alko's arm and she maintained her resolve. I gotta go. I'll be right back. You.
Alright, we are back. Soujirouu gently released Aoko's arm as she maintained resolve. They locked eyes, neither friend nor foe. Their bitterness clashed without words. And then suddenly,
人殺しはいけないことだ。
I knew it! I fucking knew it! I knew it!
Murder is wrong.
Soujirouu stated in that matter-of-fact way of his with which Aoko had become all too familiar. His words were empty, trite even. And yet, given her current state, they reached her. Although she would soon forget the fragments of Soujirouu's memories, they made her painfully aware of how he felt. Still, she could not agree with him. It would come back to bite her. If she let Touko go now, her sister would come for her again. She had already made 2 attempts on her life. Aoko did not have it in her to forgive her sister for what she had done. Above all, just as Touko said, if Aoko did not change, she would be a novice forever. She had not even won her first mage battle yet. And she knew putting down a blood relative would require even more conviction. Nevertheless, his words echoed over and over in her heart. Murder is wrong. Such a childish phrase. But the earnestness with which he said it was enough to make her sick. Resisting, Aoko glowered at Soujirouu.
だから殺されたくせにその相手までかばうっていうのあんたは。
So what?
元気になったら懲りずにやってくる殺人鬼が相手でも見逃してやれっていうの。
She just killed you. And you're going to protect her? You're gonna let her go so she can come back and kill you again when she's recovered?
まさかそこまで言ったら聖者だ。自分にはそこまでのことは言えない。
No. I don't have it in me to be a saint.
But he would probably still let her go. He did not think that Touko would change. He also did not care to rationalize her actions based on her life. He was simply thankful. Thankful that this person before him was still alive. You seem pretty damn saintly to me. That was what had made Aoko so angry. His overwhelming innocence and self-righteousness enraged her, like the Hall of Mirrors was happening all over again. The only difference was now she knew why he was acting like this. It was because she had taken a part of him. He took a step forward, passing by her, saying words he knew he should not.
仕返しなら殺された人間がやるのが筋だろう。
If it's revenge we're talking about, it seems logical that the guy who was murdered should be the one to do it.
君を止められないのは分かってる。
I know I can't stop you.
だから青崎がやるぐらいなら
Damn.
俺がやる。
Oh shit. He doesn't want the blood on her hands.
So I may as well do it, Ozaki.
It was difficult to discern who was the more pathetic in all of this. Touko, who had been staring at them the whole time, closed her other eyes if drifting off to sleep.
ごめんなさい、トウコさん。
I'm sorry, Miss Touko.
Knowing her fate, Touko dropped her head as best she could as he walked toward her.
そうだな。君にはそれもいいかもしれない。
You know, it's better if you're the one to do it.
今は特殊な状況だから、冷めた後に君がどれほど悔やむことになるか想像もできない。
Things are crazy right now. I can't imagine how much regret you'll feel after all this calms down.
ただ、それで君の停滞は終わるだろう。晴れてみそぎ落としというわけだ。純粋に祝福してあげられる。
But you'll be out of purgatory. You can shake off your old self and move on.
気に食わないのは、それを決意させたのが私ではなかったということぐらいか。
The only thing I regret is it wasn't me who made you like this. She knew that Soujirouu could not understand. Her words hanging in the air, she closed her lips tightly. What is she referring to? Does she... Oh, God damn it, we don't know anything! It seems like they know more than the audience does. Like, everybody does now, except Soujirouu himself. God, what the hell? Then weakly stuck out her slender neck. Soujirouu took another step forward. Before he could do anything, Aoko moved. Spinning in front of Soujirouu, she cut off her magical energy and swung her hand as hard as she could. The sound of her slapping his face echoed through the hall, along with his staggering steps.
Aozaki.
Aozaki? You coward. Tears of anger welling in her eyes. Oh, the main theme! Aoko turned her back to Soujirouu, sulking as though she would kill him as soon as she looked at him again.
他人の記憶を取り込んだ代償か。引きずられたな、青子。
That's what you get for taking another person's memories. He must have gotten inside your head, Aoko.
そうよ。自分の意志を人に曲げられるのがこんなに悔しいなんて知らなかった。
Yeah, I had no idea it sucked so much to have your own will influenced by someone else. That was all about all Aoko could mutter in response. The corners of Touko's lips curled into a grin.
何がおかしいのよ、あなた。
What's so funny?
いや、お前にも人並みの情けがあるとは思っていなくてね。
Oh, wow! Oh, this is great! Oh my god! Oh, it's such a difference from the beginning.
Nothing. It's just... I didn't think you were capable of normal human compassion.
バカ呼ばわりは訂正しておくよ。他人の理想を背負うのに怯えるなんて10年経っても可愛いじゃないか。
Being scared of taking on other people's burdens for 10 whole years. You're not stupid, you're adorable.
あんたね。
Now listen here!
そう睨むな。今のは心からの賛辞だ。
Now don't glare at me like that. I mean what I said.
で、私をどうする？彼に殺させるか、それとも見逃すか？
So what's going to happen to me? Are you going to let him kill me or let me go?
仕方ないでしょ。あなたの言う通り、これが何よりの代償だったんだから。
It's not like I have a choice. Like you said, this is my reward.
Aoko said begrudgingly, shooting Soujirouu a sideways glance. He seems to have recovered from the slap, and its usual absent-minded look had returned. He
may have had no memories of his past, but his morals and values were too deep to be erased. Soujirouu was trying to violate those. It would eat away at him forever. And he would be doing it not for himself, but for Aoko. Oh my god! Aoko understood this all too well now. The moment he said he would do it is the moment he lost. Not stopping him would be no different than watching him die. And she would lose something important inside her. Aoko did not want that to happen.
青崎、やっぱりその自分の受けた傷は自分で返さないと気が済まない性格か？
Alzaki, don't tell me you're one of those people who has to enact revenge on their own terms.
Aoko ignored Soujirouu, who seemed to have gotten the wrong idea. Instead, she directed her scowl at Touko, who still lay collapsed in front of her.
わかったわよ。トウコ、
Damn.
今回は見逃してあげる。
Fine. I'll let you live this time, Touko.
けど、ただで帰れるとは思ってないわよね。
But don't think you can just come and go as you please. Touko scowled at her little sister, standing smugly over her.
祖父のところに突き出すのなら、ここで引導を渡してくれ。
If you're planning on handing me over to grandfather, you may as well kill me now.
まさか。私もあの人には会いたくないもの。あなたにはこのまま出て行ってもらうわ。邪魔もしないし、教会に届けも出さない。
Yeah, right. I don't want to see him either. You're gonna leave this place, though. I won't get in your way or send word to the association.
律子は私が言い含めておくから、今回の件は私たちだけの秘密よ。
I'll be reporting what happened to Ritsuka myself. This'll be our secret. Toko's brow creased further. There had to be a catch.
青子、何を企んでいる？
Touko, what are you scheming?
別に、そ
Nothing.
の代わりに呪いをプレゼントしようと思って。今まで散々ガンド食らってきたし、おあいこでしょ？
Just thinking about which spell to use on you. But I won't use Gander. No. You've tasted that one enough already.
まあ、私のはちょっと強力だけど。
Yes, the curse I have in mind is a little stronger.
今後この土地に入ろうものなら、マダガスカルガエルになってもらうわ。
If you ever show your face around here again, you'll turn into a frog. Smiling as if they had just arranged to eat Chinese food tomorrow night, Aoko walked toward Touko.
待て、
Wait,
なんでそういうものだけ習得してるんだ、お前は。
Who taught you how to do something like that?
そりゃ師匠がアリスだもの。偏るのは当然でしょ？
my mentor was Alice, of course. She always was an odd duck. Wouldn't you agree? The elder Hazaki sister's brow knitted so hard it could have produced a sweater. Perhaps this is why your sister would say novice forever.
宗十郎、席外して。
Soujirouu, get out of here.
覗き見が趣味なら別に見ていってもいいけど。
Unless you're a creepy pervert. Then go ahead and watch. I don't care. As she spoke, she began removing her sister's overcoat. The uncomfortable look in Touko's eyes, compared to the strangely cheerful one in Aoko's, caused Soujirouu to hesitate. Was it really okay to leave the two of them alone? Eventually, he nodded. This was just a weird game between sisters.
覗き見は確かにいい趣味じゃないな。
Best not be a pervert.
Muttering more to himself than anything, he ducked into an empty classroom.
なんだそのブサイクで悪趣味な術式は。センスがないにも程がある。お前本当に私の妹か？
Hey, what kind of dumbass formula is that? Are we really related?
この通り、芸術的才能は全部姉貴に持っていかれた哀れな妹でして、嘆くなら自分の天才性を嘆きなさい。
Afraid
どうか
so. You took all the artistic genes for yourself, without thinking about your poor little sister. If you want to blame anyone, blame yourself.
Down the cold, dilapidated hallway, cries of sadness, joy, and anguish rang out.
All right, you guys. Yep. I think I'll stop here for now. And next time. Whew! I don't think I did, S. I don't think I made it there in Fate Extra. I think we might be able to finish the game next time. Judging by how things are looking, we got past the climax. Whew! The stream needs a new title, and I think... Oh... For sure. Let's change it to the obvious. There we go. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Wait, is there 10 minutes left in the game itself? Oh, until the end of the chat. You know, it's fine. We'll save it for next time. We'll save it next time. Yeah, it looks like we get to the epilogue. Okay. I honestly don't I barely remember most of Fate Extra. I barely remember it, like bits and pieces. You could ask me more next time, which will be in 2 days. But yeah, looks like we're gonna end the game. Wow, what a journey this has been. So many questions still left unanswered. I'd say, but unfortunately it looks like I've gotten into Game of Thrones, where the author hadn't written a new chapter in this story in fucking 20 years, but has written 58 trillion other stories in the meantime. So one can only guess as to his commitment to continuing this one. Oh boy. I really hope he does eventually, but I'm not gonna hold my breath if that's the case. Still, they did remake it in this beautiful visual novel here. Until next time, I will say, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night. You're all the sweetest of hearts. See ya.